Yo, yo, YouTube, Facebook, internets,
Yo,
Hi
what's
Fi
up?
Vega, Wilson Audio up in the house.
Yeah.
We are locked down. No, they don't call it lockdown. They call it stay
No.
at home.
No, they
We are,
don't even have that in Arkansas. It's like do what you want.
oh yeah, we're stay
Everything's
at home
fine.
syndrome.
Everything's fine. Just go out, eat, whatever you want to do. Just do it.
Really?
Yeah, now actually all the restaurants closed down and the bars, but besides that, just about everything's open.
Oh wow. So can you get your hair done and stuff like that?
Oh no, actually you can't.
No. So you still
How
have
would
the
I
you
know
still have
that?
the six.
How would I
I
know?
was gonna say
How would I know?
you and I are the two that doesn't affect.
Yeah. Oh, but you should see my son. It's a absolute disaster going on up there. He's shaggy.
Yeah, I think it's funny. The people that are like, "Hey, it's been 6 weeks since I had a haircut." I'm like, "It's been a day, 2 days since I've had one."
Yeah.
It's very simple with us
We're built
baldies.
we're built for this.
Yes, we are.
Although I will say in the fan art picture that was on Legends of Car Audio, I did have the hair, so that was nice.
You did,
Yeah,
and I don't know if everybody knows this, but the little I don't even want to call it logo because it's something I threw together. I use an app on my phone that took Rob and my face and made it into a caricature. And then when I was choosing hair, it didn't have a bald dude. So I had to pick hair. So I just went the opposite route and chose the one that had the big afro. So that's why the picture of me has an afro and the one of Rob just has a short haircut because I figured if you can do it right, right?
yeah, might as well. I mean, if you can have an afro, have an afro. Why not?
Yeah, it's like opposite day for me or something.
Yeah, he was getting in that. What was his name? Fred Sanford's son,
Lamont.
Lamont. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Did you know? Now this is off target topic a little bit, but we don't care because we can do that because this is our show. Fred Sanford's real name was, excuse me, Red Fox's real name was John Sanford. Did you know that?
no, I didn't know that.
And Fred was his brother, and he based the show loosely off of his brother and some other family members. But
Yeah,
yeah, there's a good video on the pickup truck that was used in the Sanford and Son. And the guy, and I don't know how I came across it because I guess because I've been watching Watch JR Go and some other car videos.
yeah,
But the guy goes on, he gets into some museum and they let him show off the truck. But he spends about 20 minutes giving like the history of Red Fox and the show. And it's just all kind of really cool stuff for those of us who grew up watching that show. So, yeah, check that out. I can't remember who did the video, but if you do a search for Fred Sanford truck or Sanford and Son truck, I'm sure it'll come up.
yeah. I mean, all those car YouTubers are blowing up, but they're putting out some cool stuff.
Yes. Yeah. And right now, I'm sure the people who maybe watch us that don't make videos probably don't realize this, but, YouTube viewership has gone up tremendously since this whole COVID thing has happened. However, since there's so many people on YouTube and the advertisers actually have cut back, then we are seeing negative impact. So in some cases, we're getting more views and less take home pay from the AdSense because there's less people buying ads, or in your case, what you'd said earlier, Rob, about what NPR said is just that there's more content, so there's less of the money to be spread around. So it's probably a combination of both.
Yeah, and those big guys are getting it all.
Yeah, that's right. The big guys like
Yeah, I
the
don't know.
what's his name, Mr. Beast. Did you see the one where he
Oh,
did the
dude.
rock paper scissors?
No, I do. I actually do kind of like his videos though. They're
You know,
they're
he's
pretty.
here in North Carolina. He's in Greenville. He's only like an
Is
hour
he?
from me. So yeah, I
Dude, just
should.
get him to drop off 1 million to you,
I'm telling you.
and then you're set.
So hey man, hook me up, or just let me be
Yeah,
on your show one time, and that's all I need.
yeah, and you could retire early, and
That's right. Get out of this hateful day job crap. Anyway, What is going on, people out there in the Facebook and the YouTube lands? We are back. We do have a topic to talk about tonight, and we hope everybody's doing okay out there. Some crazy times right now. Lots of madness, just people either stuck at home that can work, or people that are stuck at home that can't go to work, or people that have to go to work because they're, have that kind of job. So hopefully you guys you're doing okay in the madness, and hopefully all this stuff ends pretty soon so we can all get back to some semblance of a normal life. It's not affected me that much, and I don't think, as far as Rob goes, he still has to go into work, so this has not really affected him. But I do have some friends who, whose companies are pretty much the kind that go out and do things for people, and the kind that haven't been able to do those type of things, and their companies are just, they're facing tough times. So it's kind of scary to think about, the people that are having to deal with that. So heart goes out to everybody who's dealing with this in a negative way. We're not trying to minimize that, by saying that we're not by any means. We we hope everybody gets through this and well very soon.
Yeah, don't die.
Yeah, be safe out there. So before we get started with the topic, I actually wanted to show something. I know we usually save this until the end, but again, this is our show. We can do whatever we want to, right?
Yeah, there's no rules.
No rules, just right. So, I'm dropping stuff all left and right. So I just got in something today or yesterday.
Oh.
I got me a switch panel from Sparked Innovations, and I didn't call up Ed. I could have called up Ed and said, Ed, hey, I need a switch panel with a voltmeter and all that stuff, and he would have sent it to me. But man, we got to support people. Ed's got to eat,
Yeah.
Ed and Rich and Ed's brother, they all put in work, doing things. So Ed's been on our show several times. He's helped us out. So I didn't even tell him. I even used a different last name when I ordered it, so they didn't know it was me. And they sent it in just a couple of days. It came right in. Really nice. These switch panels, I'll let you hear it. Oh yeah, sounds so
I like
good.
that. Throw a volume knob on there and I'm
so
sold.
Crispy. Yeah, so he needs a volume knob. That's right.
That's what a bass knob. Oh, dude, he needs a bass knob connection in there. It'd be sick.
Yeah, I'm sure he can do it.
Oh yeah.
But he had this. You could customize it, get all different kind of color inserts. You could have it laser etched with different text here, and I just decided just to get the regular one because I wasn't sure what I wanted to say. But these are really cool, and they're not that expensive. They're actually really affordable. And there was one other thing. Of course, he sends you some goodies too. He sends you a little key fob. It might be hard to see that. And sends you a sticker. It's Sparky.
It's reflective. It's like one of those baseball cards, like the cool ones.
Yeah, the cool cards. Like the cool kids had.
Like the upper
we never
deck.
had. But yeah, he even puts a note in there. Hey, congratulations for your purchase. Thank you for supporting us, because we do make products here in the United States, and just a nice little note. But then the other thing we got, Rob knows what this is. I haven't taken it out of the box yet. What y'all know about the FBX 12?
Yeah, and he didn't even promote that one. I ended up seeing that on like one of the extra changes, and I was like, what's this?
Yeah, this is a deal for $60. It's $59, I think, right now. But it's got, what is it? It's more than 8 different fuses. It's 12. That's what 12 stands for, FBX 12. But it's got your inputs for up to 4 gauge here, power and ground. And then you have all these different fuse accessories you can use for fans and all kind of stuff in your system. Just really clean, really nice stuff. So check out Sparked Innovations. Pick up some of their stuff. They make really good products. They support our show by Ed helping us out when he needs to, coming on here. So we want to, throw them a bone to support them.
Yeah.
Ron J.L. White up in the house. Yeah, Ron had that really nice plexi panel done by Steve.
Sick, man.
That was so cool.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, man.
Now he's got to build a box worthy of that panel. So I mean, technically the pressure's on him
The
now.
pressure is on him at this point. Yeah, I think what was he doing? A 13W7, I think is what he said he
I
was doing
think
with
so.
that.
Well, I mean, it's a JL of some sort, obviously.
So he's
Yeah, it's
not going
got
to
to
use
be.
a Rockville K9, you're saying?
Yeah, or a Rockford Fosgate, or
Oh, come on.
it's in the name, man. It's in the
That's
name.
true. He could change his middle name. You know, it's easier than changing your first name or your last name.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
All right, so I guess we need to start our countdown and do our show. I'll do that thing again at the end. I forgot that we hadn't even started our actual recording yet. But
Hey, we could just do the what they call it, the rolling intro.
the rolling intro. Well, let's just do the
No,
rolling intro then. Forget it. Let's
yeah,
keep
man.
on going. This is episode 77 of 12 Volt Talk, and we're going to talk about sound deadener and
Yeah.
deadening and Dead Zone, Walking Dead. No, we're not going to talk about the
Man,
last two.
I was
Not
gonna
until the
see where
end.
I just want to see where you're gonna go with it. Like how far was this gonna go?
Well, you know, we've all been cooped up.
Yeah.
You know, we haven't seen many people here lately, so we're still not really. We're just seeing you and I, but yeah, it's madness. I see Dean 5-Star Car Stereos there. Brandon Hanna,
we go.
DIY audio guy.
Yeah, what's up?
We got
Dean,
lots of people.
we ordered some cameras, so you'd be proud.
Oh, we sure did. Rob made me do it.
Yeah.
Rob's like, look what I got. I was like,
Oh,
oh, that's
dude,
shiny. I need
we
one of
couldn't
those.
pass that up, man.
No, that's a
That's the
deal.
cheapest. Yeah.
It's literally only a little bit more than the lens itself.
Yeah.
Brandon, thank you, sir. Thank you for continuing to support us. We greatly appreciate it. And yeah, so sound deadener / deadening. And I'm interested to hear this because Rob just did a video on his Hyundai, his wife's Hyundai. And that's that can be a pretty detailed event. And I know Mark has done some pretty intense videos before, about using all the layers and everything of the sound deadening.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna let Rob start off with this. So why, Rob, do you want to sound dampen your vehicle?
Okay. There's several reasons you might want to do it. If you're a bass head, you want to feel your bass. You don't want to lose your bass out into the panels. Some of you do. Some of you like them flex videos, the fart noise stuff, but some don't. And if you're a sound quality guy, you only want to hear your music. So that's another reason. And some people just don't want to hear road noise, or when they shut their door, I want my Hyundai to sound like a Mercedes. That's the 3 reasons I can think of. You got any more?
Yeah, I would agree a lot with the last one. The one where your car, when you slam the door and it just sounds like it makes the thump. Not like the clang. Like
Yeah.
my wife, when we
Like
first
it
got
normally
married,
makes.
she had a Geostorm. I don't know if you guys remember the Geostorms, but it was like, I think the door was, maybe an inch thick total. That thing sounded like a trash can when you close the door. But
Yeah.
yeah, so, adding some mass to it and making it quiet, I don't know, it just adds so many more benefits, I think, to the whole deal. Because if you think about it, car stereo can be difficult. It's a difficult environment. There's mounting places usually for speakers, or mounting locations are usually, the decision for where they are at is usually not in any way related to, hey, this is the best place to put the speaker because of sound. No, it's because it fits. This part of the door is thick enough for a 6-inch speaker, so that's where we're going to put it. But so with all that said, you can't have the optimal environment where you can have it angled the right way and everything. So you have to take these other precautions, such as dampening the vehicle to deaden the sound. But in addition to making it sound better for audio, it's just going to sound better, period, because it's going to be quieter. Like Rob said, you drive a Lexus versus driving, a inexpensive car, you can just tell riding down the road it's just a different feel, just sounds better and all that. So I don't know that I really added anything to your statements, Rob, but I would say that being in a car that has had this done versus one that has not of the same brand, I would always choose to have the vehicle dampen if possible.
Oh, definitely. It definitely makes a difference. And really, road noise, it really helps with road noise and that nice door sound. And for us, it's got so many more benefits. So have you heard of the 25% coverage theory on sound dampening?
I have, and you know what? I tried that theory on my garage door and it didn't work.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think I don't think it works like that.
I don't either, and it definitely doesn't work like that. So that is the question, and so you see it, and of course, people like the car audio shops or people that sell the deadening material or dampening material, however you want to say it, you you would expect them to say, "Oh, you've got to have it 100% coverage," because that just like we talk about all the time about amplifiers and batteries and alternators, they always want you to buy the bigger amplifier, so you have to buy the bigger alternator and the bigger wire and the more batteries. So it's all, part of this Illuminati thing. So, so Rob, do you think that you need 100% coverage or
Mm,
25% or 50%? What's the magic number?
To me, I mean, I'm always gonna try to do as much coverage as I can because, relatively speaking, the dampening material is somewhat inexpensive. But I will say that if you're on a strict budget, 25% of the dampening will get you about 75% of the results. So you're kind of getting diminishing returns up to a certain point unless you're just going to do it all. But you have to do your research. You need to make sure you got it in the right spots. And matter of fact, Mark done a very good video on the 25% coverage. So maybe we should link to that.
Yeah, that's good return on your investment there. I mean, if you're getting 75% of the benefit with 25% coverage, that's definitely worth it. So, when you just did yours in the Hyundai, tell us about the type of material that you used and maybe some of the different types of deadening or dampening material there is.
All right, so there's basically a three-layer theory. I didn't really go by this, but when you're doing sound deadening, and I want to include this reference guide from Resonix Sound Solutions. I'll definitely add that in the description so you guys can check it out. It's very well written and it explains everything that you need to know. But basically, you have uh, constrained layer dampening, which is your butyl, and it has butyl or asphalt based if it's the cheaper stuff, and then a layer of foil on it. Once you go past that, you go into the closed cell foam, and the theory is that you're kind of getting decoupling in between your closed cell foam, and then your third layer would be like a mass loaded vinyl, and that's kind of the gold standard if you want to dampen it completely. That's if you're doing a show level competition car and you're wanting to go full out. What I did personally is I used the CLD all the way on the floor, all throughout the trunk, and I done the wheel wells a whole lot. And when it came to the panels, I used a product, Sonic Barrier, that has the butyl, the foil, and then the closed cell foam all in one. So any panel that's going to rattle on metal, you want that closed cell foam. So yeah, so I had the butyl and the closed cell foam on that. And as far as the inner door skins, I just had the CLD on it.
And I think it goes without saying that a lot of people that may be doing this themselves or doing it for the first time may forget one of the most important parts about this that you don't want to forget, which would be the panels themselves. Like the plastic, when you pull a door panel off, you want to make sure that you put some material there to give it some mass and also, keep it from the rattling, vibrating things that'll happen, the resonance that'll happen within the panel itself. because people can spend, a day or two or three. I mean, it takes a long time to pull a car apart and to do all this. And you can attest to it because I know that you spent a lot of time doing this and trying to film it as well, which even takes more time. Kudos to Dean and Fernando that do this every day. But yeah, I mean, it's you want to make sure that if you're gonna take the time to do this, you want to do it right, and you need to spend some time, watching Rob's video, watch Mark's video, watch Dean, watch the things that they show you about how to do this, because you don't want to pull everything apart and not do everything that you need to do, or not do your research beforehand and know exactly what type of products and how much of it that you need, because that's about as frustrating to me as getting involved in a project and not having what I need and having to go to the hardware store, which I know everybody has to do it, but I seem to have to go all the time. That's why projects take me 10 times longer than they take most other people.
Yeah, it's everybody. There's always the one thing you forget. And if you're going to do it kind of like I did and just pull the seats out, pull the carpet out, and do all that type of stuff, you need to. It's a weekend project. Unless you're good like Dean or Fernando, it's going to be a weekend project. I had them out. This is my wife's daily driver. So I basically had 2 days to work on it at a time, or a little bit on Friday maybe, but basically 2 days. It had to be buttoned back up so she could drive it to work, and she did drive it to work with wires absolutely everywhere in the trunk. I just hooked the amps up so we could get sound, see if everything worked, and yeah, now we got a new issue. So I'm dealing with that, and you'll see in an upcoming video.
Yeah, so the other thing I thought about, about this, especially with the hot rod and stuff, the things I want to start doing to it, is I wonder, because I've always thought about this, when you get into a vehicle, even if it's a used vehicle that's 5 or 10 years old, you start pulling the panels off. If you start seeing like sound deadening stuff back there, does that not kind of freak you out a little bit? Because to me, it's almost like, ooh, somebody's already been here and touched this, and made changes. So I kind of wonder, we didn't really talk about this before, or didn't even have it in our little document, but do you think that doing this actually could negatively impact the value of your vehicle if people
Only if
ask
they
about
see
it?
it. Only if they see it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this in particular, the stereo, definitely. The sound treatment, I don't think so. But I would, like, if you see old sound treatment, you got to pull it off. Don't go over the top of it if it's actual aftermarket product. Now, if it's the factory sound deadening, which I'm sure you've seen, it's usually really thick beads of rubber or something that they put down in lines. Yeah, you can go over that. But if there's old aftermarket stuff in there, you got to pull it out. And if it's good aftermarket stuff, it's a nightmare to get off.
So you're telling me the peel and seal that I used, I'm going to have to pull it off one day?
Definitely.
Well, see, I was researching on the internet one day and I found out that I could go to Lowe's and buy this stuff that's designed for roofs, and it's the same as Dynamat, just a whole lot cheaper. So I bought some and I put it in my door, and the stuff keeps falling off into my door.
Yeah, the sad part is some of the products that are available, they're not far off of that, even though they're aimed towards car, like the asphalt based stuff. And I tried 3 different brands because I'm gonna take the hit for you guys. If they're bad and they fall off and something goes wrong with them, you're definitely gonna know, because I went ahead and took the hit. I'm trying them out instead of just doing all the good stuff. So my wife will probably yell at me if any of those things happen.
Yeah, that's not good. Well, again, it's not a huge gamut in difference in price, but there is enough where you're buying so much material that it could be a couple $100 difference between buying the, Dynamat or the fancy name brand versus buying some of the generic stuff that they sell on Amazon. So I can understand people, if it's the same thing, then why am I going to spend that much money? But I would be cautious and read the reviews and hear what other people have said and talk to people like Dean and things that I know they only use the good stuff, because I know that, that's just what they do, because they do this on a day in, day out basis. They know what works. It's not worth their time to waste money. There, he just said it. Buy
Yeah.
the good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it's their business. They can't have. Yeah, if you're buying this for your, like, I'm doing this because I want to test it. I want to test it and see how good or bad it is. Don't do this in your own car. Just buy something, Resonix, Dynamat, um, SoundSkins is
Sound
out of
skins.
business. Now it's Sound Shield or something, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
I see somebody commented they use peel and seal 4 years later. It looks great. That's good.
Yeah. Hey, you never know. You don't know unless you try it.
Well, I sold the Ranger and I actually used some in the Ranger, so I don't know if it fell off, but I just got rid of it just a couple months ago. But
Yeah, that Vibrarex is pretty good too. I've been checking that out. Roadkill.
was that Vibraflex?
Yeah,
You said
Vibraflex.
Vibrarex.
Hey, when do I ever say anything right?
I know. We'll have to check that out. Yeah. So there's I was going to say something else, but I'll get to that later when we get to the amps and ramps section of the podcast after the fact, because I have some questions to ask the audience about some stuff I need to do. But yeah, we didn't really go deep into this, Rob, and I don't know. It needs to be stressed, obviously, is to make sure when you do this that you prep your surface, right? You don't. That would be one reason why people's stuff falls off, because they're not prepping the surface with alcohol and rubbing it down and cleaning it
Yeah.
before they put this on. And did you use a heat gun when you put your material on, or did you use anything to help other than your roly-poly?
The only one I had to use heat gun on was actually it was the SoundSkins Light, and it's so thick to get them around the wheel wells. I did have to use a heat gun, but everything else I just used a firm roller, and yeah, I just made sure to clean it up real good. A lot of them will send you some kind of degreaser to use, but like you say, typically I just use alcohol, maybe acetone, whatever you have handy.
Yeah, I saw Skip01 he made a post on Facebook a few weeks ago that talked about his trick for putting in the sound deadening was to put it in the oven at like 200 degrees for 5 minutes. I can't remember the temperature or the exact time, but he talked about how easy it was to
Yeah.
mold it in the car. I think he might have just been trying to mess up people's ovens though. So I
I do it
wouldn't
I lay it in the sun.
lay in the sun. Yeah, put it
I
on the
didn't say
dash of your
that
car.
because it was just, it wasn't really a how-to video, it was just a build log. But yeah, I do. I set it out in the sun if it's sunny and let it get nice and pliable, and then I can just, go to town.
Or not, because you can't go anywhere. Stay at home. Sorry, that was bad. So the other thing, Rob, is the fast rings. And Dean has said this multiple times here in the comments, talking about the importance of using those. I know you use those in your install because I saw those. Explain to people real quick what the fast ring does if people don't understand the importance of what that is.
So the fast ring is meant to direct your sound, basically. It's a 3-layered system. You have one layer on the back, right directly behind the speaker to absorb the sound waves. Where typically I do have, sound dampening behind that, then that, and then there's an inner ring that's the foam, and then you have an outer ring, and you do have to trim these. Because they kind of they are one size fits all as far as the width of them. But yeah, get them fitting your panels right, and they do, in my opinion, they work well. I know a lot of people don't like them, or they don't think that they do well, but every time I've used them, they've worked really, really well.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. All the vehicles I've heard that use them, they're definitely worth it. So I would definitely look into that. So there's also what we would call some uncommon sound damping materials. And anybody who's seen a lot of these videos with some of the YouTube guys that are, building SPL vehicles and stuff, some of the stuff they use, like expanding foam. Now, when I talked earlier about ruining the value of a vehicle, spray some expanding foam in your car into the cracks and stuff, and then let it come out so it sticks out of the panel somewhere, and then try to sell your car. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would be I would be easy with that. Now, if you got a cheap beater that you don't care about, that you're just busting out windshields anyway, use it up. I mean, whatever, right? Whatever helps. Stuff's cheap. Just use it.
Yeah.
But I would be really hesitant to use stuff like that in a daily driver type vehicle or something that you're planning on selling to actually make some money off of in the future.
Yeah, and you know what? A sound foam, or not sound foam, expanding foam everywhere. And he's got a nice truck. Like, his new truck is nice. It's like a Toyota 4Runner.
Forerunner. I
And I
remember
was like,
that when he
dude,
got
no,
it.
don't do it.
I know. I
Don't
was
do
thinking the
it.
same thing. Oh no, you just ruined
Yeah.
this. But yeah, yeah. So that's one thing I would be careful with. But some of the other things that people have done, obviously, if you're talking extreme vehicles, you're talking concrete. You're talking, some like the
Wood or
poles,
steel bracing.
the steel bracing,
Yeah.
the pole. They call them the stripper poles that go from the top to the bottom. They'll do, the plywood on the interior and stuff like that to give it some extra stability, I guess,
Yeah.
because if you're flexing over 160 or more decibels, you're going to ruin the vehicle if it's not,
Yeah.
completely just helped out as
Yeah.
far as
When you're like
integrity goes.
when you're mid 150s, you're gonna start messing stuff up in your vehicle. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah, the thing that I will be concerned about with stuff like that is gauges and, electronics and stuff that are vibrating out of place, and especially with the newer vehicles where you have so many computers in the car and so many electronics, again, it's we're getting a little bit beyond the topic we're talking here. We're mainly trying to make and I don't want to say Hyundai because it used to be the Hyundai was a cheap car, but Hyundai actually makes really nice cars now.
Yeah.
But and even the Chevy, what's the cheap one?
A
The little
Vio,
small one. What's it called?
the Sonic, or the Aveo.
The Sonic or the
Yeah.
Aveo, yeah, something like
Something like that.
that. Or the thing always comes to my mind is the Geo. Oh gosh, not the Storm, not the Tracker. What was the 3-cylinder one?
Oh, Metro.
Metro, the Geo Metro. So I'm
Yeah,
thinking of a little vehicle like that that's thrown together as cheaply as possible. A little bit
yeah,
of sound deadening can make a huge difference in a car like that.
for sure. And Savion says cheap deadener is just bad spray foam, use quality stuff or you'll have a bad time. And you guys will find out because it's in there now. I've got Matte 66 on the floors. I've got Kill Matte in the trunk. We're gonna check on this 6 months from now. We're gonna check on it a year from now, a year and a half from now. We'll see how it's holding up. So you guys know that's the whole reason I bought it. I use CCA 1/0 wire in there. So you guys know how I feel about that stuff. If it goes bad, I've got to pull all that out and put it back in. So I took the plunge. We'll see what happens. Hopefully my wife doesn't die from a fire.
Dude, I can't believe you did that.
Yeah, I
But
know.
I mean, and you're using 3 different amps too, so I think you'd want to run 1.0 copper.
Yeah. Well, it's
Cheap.
actually a really low wattage system.
Okay. If you will say so.
Yeah.
So the stuff you used in the 4, was that the more inexpensive stuff that you could get off of Amazon or something, or?
Yeah, the Matte 66 was 80 mil, and then the Kill Matte was 50 mil. That's all in the trunk.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I'm getting ready to start a project with my old hot rod too, so I'm gonna do some sound deadening
Paul says he'll
also.
sponsor the rebuild. I might have to get a new car if it burns down. Who knows?
There you go. So
I don't.
you gotta know who to hit up when you're trying to
Yeah.
do your videos, Rob. Got people
Well,
here that
see,
want to help you out.
I want to see what happens with that I really want to see what happens with the CCA. This system probably won't be pulling over 100 amps at any point in time, and it's 1/0 rated for 200 amps. But I want to see how it holds up for for several years. It's not a big deal for me. The wires run. I can run new wire pretty easily, but we'll see.
He ran a 2-inch piece of conduit so he could feed the 110. Yes, he said CCA.
Yeah,
This
I
is the
know.
Rob that when we did our video about using CCA versus OFC, we both agreed never use CCA.
Yeah.
Rob has stepped into on the dark side or something. He must be trying to get some controversy going or trying to catch his wife's car on fire. I'm not real sure what he's doing.
Yeah. We'll see. We'll see what happens, man. I don't know. It's a crazy world out there.
It is
I gotta
crazy.
test this stuff because then I'm like, hey, don't ever use CCA wire. But
Well,
I have more CCA wire versus OSC tests coming up soon. So within the next few months. So we'll
well,
see.
what we need to do is wire in about 3 of those Tar Amps HD 3000s with the 4-gauge input,
No.
and
No.
let you go ahead and hook your CCA up to the 4-gauge input of that, and just
Yeah.
yeah. No, don't do that. Nobody out there do that, please. I don't want to hear of anybody dying. Insurance fraud is what Chris says.
Oh Lord. Don't show
So
him this video.
so Rob, what you're trying to say is you want to buy your wife a new car. Is that where we're going with this? He spent all this time doing all this work. Yeah, and or you could do this. You could just use the last amp, that I dynoed, the one that's like 50% efficient and
Yeah.
pulled like 450 amps of current.
We'll definitely have some heat. We'll have some heat situations going. That's for sure.
No doubt. So Rob, what about some things to avoid when
Okay.
you're doing the sound deadening?
I will say that one thing that people do that I would try to avoid is stacking up layers of like the CLD instead of using just a thicker. So instead of using a 110 mil, they may get 250 mil and put them on top of each other. And you're not really getting the same performance when you stack them like that as you would with the single piece. You're kind of losing something in the mix. And I can't explain it real well, but if you read this reference guide on the Resonix sound solutions that we'll leave a link in the description below, you'll kind of see the reason why that you're losing out stacking versus just getting the thicker stuff right off the bat.
And I know Rob, and I know he did research and all this before he did what he did. So there is method to his madness. Now, see, when I'm thinking of stacking multiple things, I'm thinking like, well, when I want pancakes, I like a lot of thin pancakes and I like to stack them. I don't want a real big thick one. But in this case, when you're deadening your vehicle, you want to have thicker than
Yeah,
other than stacking.
definitely, because you lose something, in the mix. If you're now you're using a layering technique to do it correctly. If you're using a CLD and then a closed cell foam and then a mass loaded vinyl, but if you're just stacking up CLD panels, you're losing a little something. Not to mention that amount of glue is meant to hold that weight of, CLD or butyl or the asphalt base. When you start stacking it up on there, that is holding all the weight for everything else you're stacking up on top of it.
Yeah, and speaking of weight, that's one thing we really didn't talk about before either is the consideration of weight because you know when you look at different types of sound deadening material or dampening material, you'll see some of it that says it's lightweight and some of it is just thick and they don't really reference the weight. People need to take into account if they're trying to make an 8-second quarter-mile car, you're probably not going to want to layer the thing with 100 mil asphalt base
Yeah.
sound deadening material,
Yeah,
right?
that
Because
that
you're literally
BP
adding. I mean, you know how
weight.
much you bought, so how much weight did you add to your car?
Oh man, you know what? I didn't even think about the weight of it, but I have roughly 100 square feet in the car altogether, and those boxes weighed. It may be almost a pound per square foot what I've added, and
Yeah,
that's the
maybe.
thinner stuff to the medium.
Yeah. Well, I would say it's worth that drawback because we're not trying to do 8-second quarter miles here. We're trying to make vehicle more deadened and sound better and just quieter going down the road kind of thing. So I think it's worth it, but I just want people to realize that it's going to add some weight.
Yeah,
for
mile
sure.
per gallon versus sound deadener. But what you lose in miles per gallon, you're gaining in miles per gallon.
Oh, listen to him.
There you go.
See, people have already said that you've gone crazy because you went CCA.
I
We're
know.
talking about coronavirus, CCA. What's next?
And if they watched the video, they would know because I think maybe most of you guys watch the video, but no one watched these videos.
Yeah, it's tough because, yeah, y'all need to check out the videos for sure. Rob's not gotten a lot of love on the last couple. But what Paul says here, don't rush, take your time. I mean, he's right. Anytime you're doing a project like this, if you do it yourself, make sure you're not, cutting any corners to try to get it done faster, like not cleaning off the panels, not cleaning off the metal surfaces, things like that. That's really going to ruin your day when the stuff doesn't stick and it falls down and it gets stuck in your door and your windows don't go down. And so speaking of that though, Rob, there's other things you want to be careful with, right? When you're doing this. And obviously if you take out your seats and everything, it goes without saying. Make sure you know where your seat holes are. So, cut those out. When you're in the door, you have to be careful with the electronics and check out the window regulators and stuff like that, right?
Yep. You got to make sure that you want it to be serviceable. If you're the type that works on your vehicle or takes it in, you don't want to be tearing this stuff off trying to replace a window regulator. I mean, that stuff is a nightmare. So you want to put some thought into it on stuff like that where it's in your door. Think about it. Don't just only think about the gain you're getting in car audio. Make sure that it's still serviceable. In my opinion, that's the best way to do it, unless it's an old vehicle you just don't care about. And if you're going SPL, then what's it matter anyways?
Now, I know that years ago, I think it was CAD, Cascade Audio Design or something, and they may have been one of several, but they made the kind that came in a spray can. Do you remember that you could just spray onto the panels or spray onto the ones that were hard to reach? I actually bought some from Parts Express years ago, still in my garage in a box somewhere that I've never used because I was kind of scared, kind of hesitant. I'm like, does this stuff really do what it said? Has anybody used that? Have you ever used that, Rob?
I've used the brush on kind, and it's okay. It's just okay, and it doesn't work as good as normal. But like you said, in a spot that you can't put anything else, I use some in the ISO enclosure. The inside of that is painted with that stuff, and it's held up. So there's that.
Yeah, and there's people mentioning that some people still make the spray on. Yeah, I'd never used it, so I didn't know if anybody had used it before.
I believe it or not, I can afford some OFC.
Rob,
I did it for a reason.
Rob is trying to get clicky clicks.
Don't let them copperclad shame you. Oh man. See, and I thought for sure when I put this video out, like, dude, the hits are gonna be coming. I think in the first video I mentioned that I was using CCA, but we're gonna go back over it in the third video. So I'm waiting. I'm ready. I got the armor on. I'm ready. I'm ready to take all the hits.
Yeah. You're kind of like the TV preacher, that says one thing and goes out and does something completely different. Everybody's like, "What? What's wrong with this guy?"
I need to, and then in a year when it's just freaking rusted and corroded to crap, I'm like, "Hey guys, don't ever buy CCA."
Well, speaking of rusting and corroded, sorry, I had to clear my throat.
He got the Rona, y'all.
Yeah, I got the Rona. What do you think about, because we talked already a little bit about the value of the vehicle and stuff like that. What do you think about the potential for any of this sound deadening, dampening, whatever you want to call it, that has a sticky backing, all that you put on your floor? What do you think about any of it that may allow some water, moisture, stuff like that to get under it and cause problems that you can't see? Is that something that we need to be concerned about? Is that something that anybody out there has seen? I'll leave it to the commenters. We got some guys here that have been doing this for many, many, many years. I don't know. Have you
Yeah.
guys seen anything like that before?
Well, I've had in the S10 that's not running, I've had some elemental designs, if you guys remember those, sound deadening all throughout it. And I pulled some off recently to see what it was like, and it was still fine. But let me tell you, that stuff was a nightmare to get off. I had to use the heat gun to get it off. The heat gun and a scraper, just piece by piece, just pulling it off.
So Dean says he's never seen it, but you know, that's probably because vehicles you've worked on. What about something somebody else has done and did the 25% technique? And I don't know. It was just a random thought. Do you have water in your car? Yeah, no, I don't plan on having water in my car. You know, it's something that, I had a vehicle one time, Honda. I think it was a
You know,
Honda
Paul's got
Pro.
a good. He's got a good suggestion on this. Just don't have water in your car.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I had a Honda one time that every time it would rain, the water would just rush on the passenger side. I kept wondering. And I'm sorry, it was Acura Integra. I said Honda, but same thing, Acura Integra. But I always wondered. I was like, why is my carpet stinky? Why does it smell
Yeah.
like this? And me and a buddy were out and ran out to the car. We had dinner or something. Jumped in the car, and then as we were driving away, his feet just got soaked. It was pouring down rain outside. He's like, dude, where's this water coming from? I was like, I don't know. Come to find out, the Acuras had little seals that went on the bottom of the windshield, and
Yeah.
and they just deteriorated. You know, I always have older cars. The car was probably 8 or 10 years old, and sure enough, it was allowing the water to puddle up, and then it would just rush right through. So in that case, I figured it out, but it was too late because the carpet was ruined and it just stunk and all that stuff. So that will be the reason I would think of as, you know, stuff like this could happen. You could get some moisture. I mean, some of you people got kids that spill stuff, right? This ain't no perfect world. I'm just trying to think
Yeah.
out loud here. Y'all
It
don't like
might.
my
It
thoughts,
could
and
happen. It could happen for sure. I mean, I'm actually particularly concerned about the sonic barrier because I didn't know this before I bought it, but people have had that actually slide off in their doors. So if that happens, dude, I'm gonna be like me and Parts Express got some talking to do.
yeah, we had that talk already with the Timpano.
Yeah.
Um, anyway, we won't go down
Like,
that.
Jeff, what are you doing,
We
Jeff?
don't want.
What's going
We won't go down that road. Sorry, I said the T word.
on?
But yeah, so uh, I guess what we're getting at here is if you're going to do this yourself and not have a professional do it, just make sure you do your homework and read the Resonic sounds. Is that how you say that, Rob?
Resonix, I think. I believe.
Resonix
Yeah.
Resonix sounds article. They have some really detailed information there. Just watch your do your research and make sure that you understand all the components that you need and that you are willing to invest the time and the energy, because the other thing is, this requires you to, if you're going to do it right, take your vehicle apart. How many people are ready
Yeah.
to do that these days, with taking out your seats and pulling up the carpet, and with all the, center consoles and all the complexity that's involved nowadays? If you're going to do this right and do it that way, then you're going to have to be prepared to spend some time.
Yeah, that's for sure. And my wife even helped throughout the whole process, believe it or not. She was out there rolling Dynamat or rolling Mat 66 on the floor, and yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Well, that's good. It's good that you're doing this. Just for it's kind of like your what was the other thing you did with the wire? The 10, you cut the wire and then you put it outside for 6 months.
Yeah, the environmental test.
Right, to find
Yeah.
out, hey, does this stuff really, turn green? Does it really do this? Does it really do that? It's good to see those type tests. You project farming it.
Yeah, that's truly what gave me the inspiration to try. I was like, I want to try all this stuff. Here's what gave me the inspiration. I'm always hating on CCA wire, but guess what? I I haven't ever used no CCA wire. So I'm going off everyone else's experience with CCA wire, which is a good thing to do. You kind of use the knowledge of everybody to better yourself, but I also would like to have some personal experience with it, and maybe there is good things to be found in it, but I want to see for myself. Or maybe it's just as bad as I expected it to be, and if it is, I'm gonna let everybody know.
Well, it's kind of like using a Class A amp and expecting Class AB efficiency,
Yeah, yeah,
or Class AB and expecting Class D efficiency, right? Because
yeah.
you're having to use much bigger wire than you normally would use for copper.
Hmm.
And I know the thing that scares me is, the homes that were made back in the early 1900s, maybe to what was it, to the 20s and 30s, I think is when they had a lot of the homes that were wired using the aluminum wire to save money. And
Yeah,
they had lots of fires back then because of the aluminum would heat up because it's
yeah.
not efficient like copper is.
And we'll see what it does. Because technically, I could have used a 4 gauge OFC wire that I have a whole roll of in there. Because even though I'm using a 25 2 amp, I'm probably gonna be using something on the deck. I'm not gonna be pushing that thing to its limits. And matter of fact, it'll barely be played at all.
The excuses keep flying.
Where does it say that?
No, I just made that one up.
Oh yeah,
The CCA excuses keep
yeah.
flying.
Hey
We'll
man,
have to go back and edit our other videos. CCA is gold.
I'm ready. What
No.
at the end of this? What if I'm the CCA, the chairman of the CCA coalition? Like if you are running some kind of like Gestapo for CCA wire, like hit me up. We'll work something out.
You're going to be like an internet meme now.
Yeah, cut it out, clip it out, share it on
Oh,
Facebook.
man. That's good stuff.
Oh man,
Well, that's really about all we had to talk about the CCA and the CCA. Listen to me. I'm even you're getting me off topic now. Sound
oh man,
deadening.
yeah,
Talking, we didn't really talk about the stuff like you use underneath your hood because I know Dynamat has that reflective, and that's kind of lightweight stuff that you put under your hood to kind of keep the hood cool.
yeah,
It reflects the heat, things like that. Even though that's probably more of a heat thing than it is a deadening thing.
yeah.
I don't know, the guys who use that stuff may know better than me the purpose of that, but
Yeah, they do. They sell that, and it's cheaper. It's like you said, it's meant to reflect heat and all that type of stuff. Maybe cancel a little bit of noise from the engine bay.
yeah, and some of the, like if you go to LMC truck and if you're working on an older vehicle or something, they do have kits that you can buy that have like the heavy mats and stuff that you put down, and I know some of it is actually adhesive base that you can roll on the floor, but if you watch any of the Motor Trend TV or any of the what they used to call the hot rod TV or something that used to come on, they would always be working on older vehicles and they would use that stuff all the time. Of course, they would use Dynamat as well, but I think it's well known that adding the deadening or dampening is something that most people want to do. It
Yeah,
helps noise. Like if you have a loud exhaust, you want people outside to hear it, but you don't want to hear it in your vehicle. If anybody's ever been in a vehicle that has got one of those aftermarket exhaust or something with a cherry bomb type muffler, something that doesn't really muffle the sound, if you're driving down the highway going 70, 80 miles an hour, it really gets old quick to hear that dead drone
yeah,
rumble
yeah.
sound. And sound deadening can do more than just help your stereo. That's my
He's
story and I'm sticking to it.
saving that was safe for truck for sure. You do. I will note that I would never ever use this in something that I'm actually running power in. Like I said, I could probably put a 100 amp fuse in the main battery and be fine. But yeah, I'm definitely not going to do this in a high power situation. And this system is very low powered.
Yeah, he says very low power, and very low power is a relative term.
Yeah.
Very low power for today's world is probably true, but if this was a system in the 90s, it would not be a low power system. I mean, a
Yeah.
225.2, 40.2, and the other one's a
Well,
400
yeah, power
4.
404. It's a lot of power if I'm cranking it up, but what I mean by low power is it's like everything's turned down. Like everything's
Oh,
down.
he's got a governor on there for his
Yeah,
wife.
yeah, yeah. So, like if we're running full tilt, yes. Like the power 404 is a freaking monster. The 225.2 is a monster. And then, the little 40.2 is not bad itself if we really wanted to crank them.
Yeah, now low power is anything less than 5,000 watts.
Yeah,
That's
I guess
I mean,
so.
that's kind of true. if you're if you're running a 3K, oh, only a 3K now.
Yeah. I haven't run a 3K in my life.
Yeah, other than the test bench, I hadn't either. So
Mm.
just a poser.
Main power run is about 12 foot ish, something like that. So what you working on? What's coming up? What have you put
Um,
out?
yeah. So I've had a little bit of fun here recently with with some of these amps that are rated through the roof again, and it never fails to just tick me off to see this stuff listed on eBay and Amazon and all that says, oh, 8,000 watts. It says 8,000 watts everywhere. Then you get it in the manual. Oh, it's 3,000. Well, why don't you say 3,000 anywhere else? It just, it drives me crazy. But there's one even more ridiculous than the one I tested this week. And I'm not sure if it's coming up this weekend or not. But yeah, I got another one that's kind of Dick Riculous is the best way to say it. And I got the hot rod back. So I haven't really done an update video on it. It still needs some interior work. It has been rewired. So I've still got some things to do with it, but it is a reliable driver now. So that's nice. I can take it out and just cruise a little bit. And that's always fun. I've done that a few times here in the past couple weeks. So that's fun. Gets a lot of looks. It's not quite like driving a Ferrari or Lamborghini, but it's rare. I mean, you don't see a 1937 vehicle out on the road very much, so it's kind of cool. So I'm working a project toward that. So what I was going to get to, which I'll get to after you tell me what you're up to, is some recommendations that I want from the audience. But what you got going on other than I know you're working on your project for the Hyundai, and what do we got coming up next?
Yeah, we're gonna do the Hyundai. I've got, like I said, I want to do. Actually, the reason I use CCA is because I've got a CCA versus OFC test coming up. Something to complement, maybe what me done in his video. But also, I got something to show off. Cool. This thing's a beast. It might it might be a while before you guys see this one on the dyno, but what do you think about that? Performance standard. These back in the day, these amps were always beast that I remember. And I've seen one dynoed, the bigger one on the amp performance. But there's no videos of them, so I figured I'd order one, got it off eBay, and we'll see what it does. It's heavy. It's very heavy and it's very big for a 200-watt amp. I mean, I got a big head and look at this.
Yeah, that's cool. It's always fun, the ones that we've had surprises and failures before with some of the old amps that we thought either were extremely powerful or ones that may not have been so powerful and they actually turn out to be pretty powerful. So it's always fun. That's the fun thing about testing amps is sometimes you just don't really know. But in my experience, Kenwood has always been kind of they're going to do their rated power plus some. Pioneer usually is the same way too, but it'll be interesting to see. Maybe it's one of those super underrated ones. Who knows?
Yeah, and they don't get a lot of love. Kenwood rarely gets a lot of love, so I remember these. And at the same time, I don't know if you remember, they made subs called the HQ, and they just had the red HQ in the middle, and then the baskets, I believe they were like gold colored. They were sweet. If you don't remember the HQ series, they were really nice.
Yeah, I don't specifically remember the HQs, but yeah, that sounds like some fun. The I think I was trying to think. The question I had was I'd been watching some videos with older vehicles and the interior. I've pulled up some of the carpet. I don't see like any rust holes or anything like that, but I do see some places that look like they need a little bit of attention as far as protection. So I know they make some roll-on material that you can put on your on the floorboard of the vehicle that kind of helps. Not only it doesn't help deaden it at all, but it just helps protect the metal and gives it a coating to help with that. And I can't remember the brand. I was watching a guy that had like a 60 something Camaro or something he was doing that with, and said this roll on. It's kind of like super thick paint, but it's designed to convert the anything that's slightly rusting and kind of get rid of that, knock it out. Anyway, I don't know if anybody has any experience with that. Thank
Yeah,
you, brother.
Chris Fix just done a video on it. I watched it today, like before
Oh,
when I was
oh,
eating my
so
dinner.
that's the one he just released. It talks about that too.
Well, something like that. He
Okay.
uses a product that's kind of like that.
Yeah, that's it. Pour 15. Somebody just said it right down here. That's it, Bowen. Yes, that's it. So that's what I'm planning on using. I think that stuff's pretty good. Hopefully,
Yeah, for sure.
lizard skins.
Oh man, should we get into amps and ramps?
I think it's about that time.
I can thank our Patreon people. I wrote them down today.
Yeah,
I
let's
didn't
go
work
ahead and
over
do that.
today, so I'm not tired.
Let's do that.
All right. So thank you. Shout out Ron, JL White, Brandon Hanna, John Hill, The Third Era, Chuck Miller, El Fuego, and Matthew Massey. Appreciate all of you.
You guys rock the hizzy. So it's funny, the 22nd of every month or thereabouts is when the YouTube AdSense comes in. So I always send Rob a screenshot of what we've made in the last 28 days, and then I'll PayPal him his half. I tell him we're like Forrest and Bubba. I say we split it right down the middle, 50-50. I don't talk about shrimp kebabs and shrimp steak and...
Yeah, and I used that money to buy CCA wire, so I got all you.
See? Can you believe that? He's not spending his money the right way. We need to tell him to buy a snapper lawnmower and go mow the grass at his local school. Y'all don't know what the heck I'm talking about,
School's
do you?
out for summer, man. School's out forever.
All right, let's hit the amps and rants. Before we do that, everybody who is watching or maybe listening, check us out, youtube.com/12etalk. You can also go to 12volttalk.com, and it will forward you to our YouTube channel for right now because we don't have a website. But we do have a forwarder in place that makes it easier for you so you don't have to remember the whole YouTube part. Go there and subscribe to us. You can listen to the audio versions on Spotify, Google Play, and Apple Podcast, and wherever else it streams out to this world of podcast nations. Make sure you check us out there if you just want to hear us and don't want to see our beautiful bald and, just beautiful faces that most people do want to see. So we know why y'all are watching. Not. Anyway, we do appreciate you guys listening, watching, whatever you want to do with us to gather the content, to grow the community, to get people here so we can talk more about car audio. We can keep it going. So thanks always for people that are listening. Rob, thanks always for helping out and being the leader of the pack.
CCA forever.
CCA for life, LYFE. All right, friends, until next week, we are on to amps and ramps. So stay tuned, you guys who are actually watching. Those who are listening, you have to come check us out live so you can hear the amps and ramps part.
Yeah, the good stuff.
We out of here.
Later.
Yeah, the AdSense is down. You can't afford the OFC.
That's what happened, man. Damn it. Oh
It
man.
let's put it this way. It's mine has dropped like almost half.
Oh
So
man.
the past month, I've been the views have been doing pretty good. I don't want to say the number and act like I'm bragging because it's not much compared to what some people get, but in the last month it's gone up 20% as far as the views go, and AdSense has gone down like 40 to 45%. Ouch.
Yeah. It's a good thing that's not your main gig.
Yeah, I'll be eating like beanie weenies.
Yeah.
What
Well, it's
cameras did
fine.
we get?
I've got it.
Dean is a Canon guy.
Yeah. Let me share my screen here. Let's show
Share
them
your
off.
screen and show them.
If you guys are in the market for a camera,
They
uh,
still have it right now?
yes, they do.
Oh,
Check this out. Not that. Don't check that one out. That one's crap. Check this one out. The M50, just a body, 345 refurbished, or 359 with the kit lens.
and yeah, why would you not spend the extra $15 and get the lens? The lens itself,
Yeah,
even on this site refurbished, is still like $130.
I know. And I mean, this is a decent. It's not a aftermarket lens, but it's decent for what it is. I mean, that dude is that's pretty cheap, man.
Yeah,
359.
these now are being sold new for $4.99. They did drop because they were at one
Yeah,
time they were like what $7.99 or $8.99,
yeah,
and then
they always are when they first come out.
they dropped them down, so they're $4.99 brand new. But when you get it from Canon refurbished, you can see right there you get a 1 year warranty. It essentially is a new camera when you get it. I bought a couple from this site, the refurbished Canon site. You do have to pay tax. Shipping is free. I think it came out to just under $400.
That was like
But
394 or something like that.
yeah, something like that. But this camera is a mirrorless camera. It's got the APS-C sensor, so it's got a large sensor, not as big as the full frame, but it does have the dual pixel autofocus, which if you guys don't know what that is, it has super good autofocus. And Dean has got the M6
Mark II. That's the
Mark
baller
II.
one. That's the one that
Yeah,
has no additional crop on 4K. And I don't. Dean does it do dual pixel autofocus in 4K as well? I
yeah, I
can't
don't
remember
know.
if that. I think that one does.
Yeah, the dual pixel autofocus for Canon is just, yeah, it's the real deal. I mean, super fast autofocus when you're using video, and that's important. The camera I'm using right here is a Panasonic G7 with I think it's a 20 millimeter
Yeah, you got that.
f1.7.
You
I
got
think,
the that pancake Panasonic lens, right? The
yeah, I
wide
think it's a
angle.
20 f1.7. But anyway,
Yeah.
I have it set with manual focus because I don't want it searching in and out during this. But I've the funny thing is, here's how I set my focus, before the show. So I take my pencil and I'll reach over and I'll touch the,
No.
yep, and so that
That
focuses on my
that and
face.
that's how you do it, huh?
That's how I do it. I don't want to give up all my tricks, but the other cool thing about the Canon that Rob is showing is, and Rob just let me know it this last night, is they just released some new software on the Canon site that allows you to convert your Canon camera into a webcam
Without the
without the
capture
capture
card.
card.
Yeah.
In other words, you just go USB out of the camera into your computer, use the software, you use the webcam. Anybody who is listening to this or who's watching, if you got changed from an office job to a work from home job, you probably, if you didn't have a webcam before and a headset before, you're probably not able to find them because everybody and their brother's trying to buy them. So it's cool that Canon released this because if you have one of these cameras that's available right now, that's available to use with this software, I should say, then you can have your webcam, and that'd be a heck of a webcam too.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Look at
But yeah, this site has got a lot of stuff. In fact, the 80D was the one I was looking at before. But when
yeah.
Rob showed me the M50 and I started comparing the specs, The M50 is pretty close to being the same features and a little bit more because the 80D doesn't do 4K video.
Wait, the
But
80 doesn't do 4K?
no, the
Oh,
90 the
I didn't know
90D
that.
that just came out does
Yeah.
4K. But I've got an older Canon 7D from many years ago. In fact, I think it was 2009. Gosh, it's been that long ago. But yeah, I've got that one. That was one of the first ones. The Nikon 90D or D90, I think, was the first one that actually did HD video. And the 7D came out right after that one. So it was the first Canon one that maybe the 5D did it first. Anyway, it was one of the earlier ones that did it. But dude, the video looked so good on those cameras, but it was all manual. You had to focus it
Yeah.
manually, and I had to buy like an adapter that went on the back that actually magnified the LCD so that I could see closer what I was focusing on. Dude, I was into this stuff big time years ago, and I'd spent so much time trying to get good shots. Of course, I was taking pictures of family, and every time we had Christmas, they're like, "Oh, well, there's a camera guy again," because I would have like a LED light on the top, and I would have my lens, and I would. It was just fun, but yeah, it's too much work to do all that
It is.
stuff now.
I mean, it is fun when you get into YouTube and stuff. It kind of, or for me, anyways, it kind of got me more into like filmography and videography and setting up your shots and actually thinking about that type of stuff. Geez, man, Dean has got more cameras than amps over there, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, 80, he's got two 80Ds.
The Mark
Um,
II, the M100. Dean, have you seen this? The Speed Booster.
yeah, see, we're not talking amps or amps. We're talking cameras and we're talking mirrored and mirrorless cameras.
Oh, I know. This is the Dean episode. We need to get Dean on just talking about some cameras.
That's for sure.
That's the
We shoot the
Oh,
show
he
the
has it.
XC10.
Do you like the Speed Booster? What do you think about it? We've been contemplating.
Yeah, I don't even know if was that the speed booster you were showing, or was that just the adapter?
Wait, hold up.
Because
Yeah, I
that
clicked the
wasn't
wrong
the
one.
point seven
Yeah,
whatever.
I meant to where's
How
it
many
at?
Power 1000s? I've got two Power 1000s. One is a Terminator. One is a non-Terminator.
Yeah, I guess I didn't find it here. But they have two different versions. Oh, here it is.
Yeah, Juan likes cameras. He brought the nicest camera to the Texas meet. He had that L lens, the 70 to 200 2.8.
Yeah,
He looked like a.
like
I mean,
you're
his
shooting.
pictures showed up too because when you sent me those pictures, I'm like, man, that's why. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's the Speed Booster right there.
Yeah, people probably. What in the heck is that? We just use our phone. Well, I
Yeah,
use my phone
we
too
do too.
most of
We
the
do
time.
too. uh,
But stuff like this is just cool.
yeah, really
Oh, the
cool.
5D Mark IV. He's got a 5D Mark IV too.
Man, Dean don't play
Dang.
over there, man.
XC10 5D Mark IV. Good lord.
Wait up, never use it?
That YouTube AdSense must be kicking in, man. Good lord.
I'm sure that's coming from the
Fernando's
Hunter
probably like,
install.
can we buy lunch one day instead of another lens and camera?
Oh man.
So you got a 70? No, you don't. Dean, you've got to do me a favor and you got to lay out your cameras and take a picture because I want to see all the ones you have. You've already named like 7 or 8, and these are
Yeah.
not old.
And has he
You don't have a 300 f2, a 300 f2 or f2.8.
there you go.
I've got a picture, and
So
Rob,
no
I have to
CS.
send it to you. I wish I had saved it on my computer. Canon made a 1200 millimeter 5.6 lens. It cost $100,000. I think they made two of them, and they had it for sale on B&H at one time used, and it was the funniest uh, statement about the lens that you'd ever read. It said that they think there might have been 4 or 5 that were made. I said 2, but they said that they knew that National Geographic had one. They knew the government, they didn't say who, but probably FBI or somebody like that. But dude, this was the most ridiculous lens. And to see it on a camera, it was like 4 feet long. And it was, like looking into a huge barrel like this. Craziness. But
And the lenses, they're the ones that have the tripod mounts on those big
yes.
ones like that, not the
Well,
camera.
if Dean has got he's got a 300 millimeter 2.8. That one is a huge lens too. It's huge, massive, incredible. That's big.
Yeah.
We're talking thousands of dollars for that lens. Probably like 3 or 4 grand. I don't want to say that out loud, Dean, because your wife might hear it, but that is
He
expensive.
picked it up for $50 at a yard sale.
I think the only bigger one than that is there's a 400 2.8, and there's a 600 f4, and that one is the one that you see a lot of times on.
So these are fixed focus?
Yes. No, not fixed focus, fixed focal length.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Fixed.
So if you ever watch tennis and see the guys on the side with those huge white lenses with the huge openings, those are either 400 2.8, 600 f4, or 300 2.8 that Dean has. And they just just shots you just can't get anywhere else. But that's why they're so big, because they let in so much light, and wow, that's crazy.
I'm sure Dean's probably already seen the new Canon EOS R that I sent you.
I'm sure he's probably already got it on his buy list.
You got it on pre-order. It's got 4K at 120 frames.
I almost thought that was like an April Fool's joke when Rob sent me the specs. 8K video, 4K, 120 frames per second.
Yeah. And then it had the dual pixel autofocus up to 8K, it said.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude.
Yeah, I'm sure Dean has seen that. He's a camera guy. He's got all this stuff. You need to do camera dyno reviews.
Oh, man.
Dude, there are so many people that do reviews on cameras, and some of them are so good and so detailed. They take days and weeks to make those videos.
There's a bunch. Like I like the ones I like are like Potato Jet. You ever watch Fronos?
Yes.
Fronos, and then Everyday Dad. I like him too.
Yeah, he does good.
Yeah.
And they just recently dropped that new Mavic, what's it called? Mavic Air 2 or something. It just came out.
Yeah.
The drone DJI, and it's $799, and yeah, that thing looks pretty sick.
Yeah.
It does 4K 60 video. It'll follow you, so you can set it to follow mode, so you can just start walking. And people that like ride bikes or ride skateboards, and it'll follow you around. Yeah. And it has a 34-minute flight time.
Wow.
That's really good, because most of them use like 14 to 16 minutes or something.
Why don't you get one for the fall meet?
I can't think of a good reason why I would need one, but
the fall meet, man.
Yeah.
And then you can just leave it down, since it'll cost so much to take.
Maybe we just need to rent one, or get somebody out there that has one to bring it. Because that time Dan Bailey brought one to the North Carolina spring meet. That was really neat, because he did a fly-in shot, like from the air of the whole parking lot and everything. It was really cool.
That was cool. But to bring it back to amps and ramps, you have your Bear Claw pedals.
Oh, I do. You want to see them?
Yeah, let's see them.
All right. So anybody who knows old school BMX probably doesn't realize that Hutch is still around. It's not the same Hutch as it was way back in the day, but they do still have a lot of molds and everything. But if you know BMX from back in the day, you have probably seen the Hutch Bear Claw pedals.
Yeah.
That, my friends,
ankle destroyers,
is something of beauty. And if you wear Vans, you don't have to worry about slipping these pedals, because these bear traps here will actually fit into your Vans, into the grooves. But these are just the coolest pedals ever, and they're ridiculously expensive, but I had to have them, but just because I needed them when I was a kid and I could never afford them. But yeah, this is our ramps section of the after show. Hutch Pro, I don't even know what they're called. Pro Bear Trap pedals, because they make a smaller version, a mini bear trap. You don't want to get those. Those are for little teeny tiny feet. But yeah, Hutch BMX for the win.
Yeah, those are dope. Those are dope. You paid for them too.
Yeah, they're expensive. I don't want to say. I mean,
What bike are they going on?
I don't know.
You haven't said. I never asked you.
Dude, there's a dude on eBay that's selling these things right now for like $40 more than you can get them from Hutch.
What?
People just don't. I don't think people realize.
Hutch or what?
I don't think people realize that you can go to hutchbmx.com and buy them. Their website is not very good. It's hard to find stuff on their site.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, this is an investment. I think these things are gonna be worth something. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know. Yeah. I just wanted to see them. Touch
well, you got 3 bikes now, right? Because me, you, and JDR when we come up. So.
Yep. All right. I've got at least 3. Got a couple.
There we go. That's all we need. 1 each.
They don't make Vans in my size. What size?
Oh, no, he didn't.
Ken, what size shoe do you wear?
Did you see this?
No, you didn't.
Damn it, Dean. What are you guys putting that in? When's the
L712. Not the quad box. They haven't come in yet.
So you know, as far as you know,
Dean's
got the
hookup. Yeah. No, they haven't come in yet. He's talking about something different.
Oh,
no, he didn't.
Dude, I missed it. Wait up, was it in the title?
No, he didn't.
Oh, I know what I'm watching as soon as we.
I gotta look right now because I think he's pulling our chain.
Dude,
are you pulling my chain, Dean? You got to be.
Listen, if there's one thing I know about Dean, he don't play.
He don't play. Well, he must. Did you get Dean? Did you get the one from Kicker?
The main one.
It was live today. Wow, how did we miss that? Well, we were working. Probably is how we missed it. That's cool. Kicker.
Oh, I gotta check it, dude.
I do. I gotta check it too. I'm gonna be watching that as soon as we get off here.
Yeah. Man, everybody watched it but us. That's what we get for being suckers and going.
There it is. We unboxed the Kicker quad.
Oh.
Wow.
Are you guys using it or what? I guess we'll have to watch the video to see.
Yeah, we're gonna have to watch the. That is insanity.
Oh, that's dope. Oh man, see this face right now. This is the Big D super jealous face.
Well, I've got some real questions now for Kicker then, because yeah. Anyway, this is.
Wait up. Nope, not that one.
It was from SEMA, so you got the one then.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out.
I gotta check that out too. I can't believe they sent you the one.
Dude, like, I wanted the one.
That is so awesome. I'm jealous. The jealousy. Can you see the jealousy in my face here, Dean? Can you feel the jealousy? Not only the Canon cameras, but the Kicker quad box.
Yeah, Dean's living a life down there.
33 minutes too. Dude, I got to drop off so we can go watch this. Streamed 4 hours ago. So literally it was right before not long before we started here.
Dang.
Well, here, I'm gonna paste the link down here in the description so you guys can go watch it too.
He said half the viewers are leaving to go watch it right now.
Yep, I'm sure they are. They're dropping off again.
I don't blame y'all.
Yeah, I'm gonna go see it too.
We're gonna leave and just watch it, and then you guys can just watch our feet.
How did you work that out? Dean's got some pull. Dean's got some extra pull with Steve and them people. So
he knows a guy.
He does. He knows a guy. I know you know a guy.
Jeez,
dude, I would have driven to Florida I don't know. Shouldn't say that.
I could have
I
drove to
was down,
Stillwater.
Dean. You know, I never got up with you when I was down there because we had to. Well, it was our last day, but we had to leave because they shut down Disney when we were down there. And we had stuff like going on every day, and I couldn't think of a good day to get up with you. But I will next time we do our Disney trip or whenever we get up Florida, I'll make sure I get up with you, and so we can
Yeah.
hang out,
Okay.
do something.
How far are you away from Fort Walton Beach? Dean?
From what?
Fort Walton Beach.
Fort Walton Beach?
Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
You never heard of it? It's by Destin. Might not be that far of a drive. I'd like to go down there and hang out, see what they got going on. That's where we're going this summer.
Oh,
Not sure on the
okay.
date yet, but yeah,
So Dean is on the Gulf side, I
that's
think.
the side we're visiting. Yeah.
Yeah, he's on the Gulf side. He said he was about, I think he was about an hour, I think he said, away from Orlando where we were at Disney.
So that's somewhat like, isn't Tampa an hour?
Clearwater is what he says.
Yeah, I'm not sure where Clearwater is either.
How far are you from JL, Miramar? It's probably a long ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to look at do our geography because we don't know. We don't know Florida that well.
No, we just stay in the the Gulf side that's closest to us. So Destin, what's the other one? I can't think of the other one right now.
Rob is picking out
Pensacola.
his retirement home is what he's doing.
I definitely am. I'll
See?
have a retirement home down there.
He's going to be one of them snowbirds.
Yeah.
Is that one of the kind of snowbird that doesn't leave in the summer?
Listen, I can't live nowhere but the South.
I know. Me
So when I
too,
retire,
neither.
when I retire, it's going to be from this part of the South to this part of the South.
Yeah, I'm with you. Although I could see having a place in Maine or something to stay like for June, July, August, or July, August,
And
just
the
a
hottest
couple months.
parts. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see
we're
that.
tropical people.
Yeah, but I can definitely deal with the hot better than I can the cold. So
Yeah.
my accent is too strong to live up north. Yeah, mine is too. Although some people think that I'm from California. I'm like, do I have a California accent? I don't really see it, but I don't know. Rob's from California, so he has a California accent. But
No, I don't. I sound country as ever. Hey, you go to California and like go back to visit and be like, yeah, I don't sound anything like you guys. Nothing at all.
yeah, I tell you who has a California accent is Doug Bernards.
Yeah.
Doug has got a California accent like nobody's business.
Yeah, it's always more nasally,
Yeah,
and we're pretty slow, and we think about things.
that's it.
And even though I still say stupid stuff, but I thought about saying that stupid stuff. That's the bad part. Think about that.
Think about that. All right, everybody, go watch the Kicker L7 quad box that I posted into the description. 5-star because it's 33 minutes or something long. So I'm gonna go get me another drink and go sit down and watch it before
Me
it's time
too,
to
and
get
my
to bed.
pink cup that's halfway torn off. This is the last cup available, so we do what we do.
Dag, see if I would have known that, I would have had Dean come on here tonight and tell us about it.
No kidding, man.
I can't keep up. But Dean, when you have something like that, you got to text me and tell me, man. You got to like give me a heads up, man. That's awesome.
He's only doing 65 other things at the
I
time,
know.
right?
Yeah, I know. He's got so much stuff going on, but wow. All right. Y'all go watch Kicker L7 Quad, and we will be back in a couple weeks.
Yep.
Peace out.
See ya.